Hello and welcome. This is Janet Skates, and I'm excited today to start a new series on color play. That's what this is about. I get more requests for videos and tutorials on color than anything else, so I'm getting started. There's so much to learn. We can never learn it all about color. But today we're going to start. And I'm beginning with one of my favorites as of recent, that is Scarlet, and a color that has been popular for hundreds of years the world round. And I have to share before I get started one of my favorite books, The Secret Lives of Color. So if you haven't read this book, give it a go. It's wonderful. Great book, great resource, and lots of fun facts about color. And you'll notice my nails aren't even. This color is called Cajun Shrimp. How fun is that? So it's a beautiful scarlet. So one of my favorites lately has been a mixture, and I'm going to take you through some steps with it today and introduce you to how I use the fluorescents in my painting. So I'm beginning with a Pyrrole Red. I'm using fluid acrylics today. You can use, if you don't have those, you can use heavy body. It doesn't matter. I like to use the fluid. It's a little easier when I'm doing just paper studies. So I'm gonna get some of this red out. A Pyrrole Orange, that one's empty. Time for that one to go in the bin. A Pyrrole Orange. And I'm going to be using some black. This is a carbon black. And some titanium white. And then I'm going to introduce one or both of a fluorescent red. This is one by Nova. Nova has beautiful fluorescent colors. And fluorescent magenta. You may have some different fluorescents, maybe opera red or something like that. You can certainly give those a try too, but we're going to start with the basics here first. So I'm working on just some cardstock that I have left over. This is a watercolor paper, and I don't do a lot of paintings on watercolor paper. I prefer a cold press with no tooth, and this has a lot of tooth, but this is perfect for what we're doing today. So to begin with, one of my favorite colors as of recent, I'm going to show you this so you can see, is to take pretty much a 50-50 mix of this Pyrrole Red and this Pyrrole Orange. May have a little bit more orange to it than the red. Let's see. Kind of, but it's just brilliant. So I'm going to start with a swatch of that, and I'm just using a wet brush, a wet flat brush, and that's my starting sample. And I'm going to make notes on these so that later I have this for a reference card. So next I'm going to add just a little bit of white to this mix here. Get where you can see a little bit of white so I can make a tint. Because I so often paint a color and then I can't remember how I got it, or worse yet, I jot down how I got it on the wall so I can go back later and see how I made it. So taking the time to make these is really helpful, and this was inspired by a friend I painted with recently in Springfield, Missouri. Beautiful, beautiful city. So I'm adding some more white. Now you could do this step by step and really make a lot, go out on a bigger piece of paper, but I'm just going to do a few just so you get the idea. Then if you want to go back later and make this even more white, you can. But this is just to show you a little bit. And then on the other side, I'm going to go back to clean my brush off here. And I'm going to go back to the mix here, the middle mix I started with, and I'm going to add just a little bit of black to this to come up with the shade. I may have to mix up a little more. And then a little more black until eventually I could get really, really dark. But that'll give me an idea for reference, okay? And again, you can stretch those out as far as you want, adding more and more black and more white. But I'm just getting a little sample down for myself. All right, and then with a clean brush, I'm going to go back now and I'm going to mix that original mix. So I've got some red, the pyrrole red, and the pyrrole orange. And now I'm going to do a couple of mixes with the fluorescents. And I do this a lot in my painting. So I'm going to take a dab of the fluorescent magenta first. And I'm going to add this magenta to the color. And a little more. And a little more. So you can see how the magenta brings out the brilliance of the color. And next, I'm going to add a little white to this mix. And here I'm not doing the black. I don't think that will bring out the prettiest part of the fluorescent, but I'm going to do the white just a little bit so you can see. And remember, I called this color play because that's what it is. This is when you can come up with some of your most favorite combinations and play. Next, I'm going to take the fluorescent red. So I've got some of my mixture here, the orange and the red, and now I'm going to add some fluorescent red to this mix. Fluorescents, I didn't used to be a fan, to tell you the truth. And then I started playing, started playing with them, and I have just loved what I've learned about fluorescents. Now a little white in this. And if you have paint left over, if you're doing this with me, if you have paint left over, keep mixing. You know, mix up, use this paint and come up with some different mixes that you like. This is one I did earlier, which you can see I got a black smudge on it, but that doesn't matter. But this is a card now that I can refer back to. And I can use my basic mix, was a pyrrole orange plus pyrrole red, and then red fluorescent and a magenta fluorescent and black and white. So I can pretty much go back to this and see, or you could even make the notes across the top. Some of you people out there that are very, very organized and orderly can make a chart of this. But for me, this is my card and I can look at this. But look at these beautiful, look at this color here. This is a salmon pink here, and this is even a lighter here. This range of colors right here is just something I can look at on my wall and inspire me as I begin to work. So this is one for you to get started with. I hope you have fun. Give it a try. Share them with me. Send me pictures. I love seeing pictures of what you do. And I hope this is helpful for you. Thank you for joining me.